We're now learning from the latest batch of the Epstein files released by the DOJ, of course, that Noam Chomsky, of all people, was not only friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, he was providing advice to Jeffrey Epstein as he was dealing with some sexual assault and rape allegations, pretty close to when he actually ended up getting prosecuted and imprisoned. So this is actually the email that Chomsky had written to Epstein February 23rd, 2019. Epstein copied and pasted the message and sent it over to a guy named Matthew Hilzick to get his opinion on what Chomsky was saying and the advice he was giving to Epstein. So now I'm gonna read you Chomsky's actual message to Epstein. He says, quote, "I've watched the horrible way you are being treated in the press and public. It's painful to say, but I think the best way to proceed is to ignore it. I've had plenty of experience, though of course, not on this scale. A Google search will bring up tons of hysterical accusations of all sorts, even groups devoted to vilifying me. I pay no attention unless I'm approached for a comment on a specific matter. It's a nuisance, but it's the best way. The same conclusions from experiences of others, in some cases, close friends." So here's Noam Chomsky giving a serial pedophile rapist advice on how to handle the latest allegations against him. There's more. Further, he writes, what the vultures dearly want is a public response, which then provides a public opening for an onslaught of venomous attacks, many from just publicity seekers or cranks of all sorts, which are impossible to answer. How do you prove that you are not a neo-Nazi who wants to kill the Jews, or a rapist, or whatever charges come along? That's particularly true now with the hysteria that has developed about abuse of women, which has reached the point that even questioning a charge is a crime worse than murder. For virtually everyone who sees any of this, the reaction will be, where there's smoke, there's fire, maybe raging fire, whatever the facts, which few will even think of investigating. Okay, that was Noam Chomsky in a message that he sent to Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. So this is after Epstein had already been convicted of trafficking human beings for sex.
I don't get it.
I do. There are no heroes in politics. Just be very clear about that. There are no heroes. Just take people as they come, right? Some have good, contributions to the world of politics, but I think it's a mistake to think that anyone's a hero. All right.
But part of the reason why I'm confused by it is because he says in the middle, it's how do you prove that you're not a neo-Nazi who wants to kill the Jews? The reason why Chomsky says that is because Chomsky has been called an anti-Semite before, which is hilarious. He's Jewish, but he's generally been against Israel's genocide and all these things. So, but what the hell is he doing with Epstein? But we all knew in 2008 he got caught. There's no question. So why would you go hang out with him? I just don't get it. And so, yeah. But look, to Anna's point about heroes, no, guys. Look, heroes are for movies and books and stuff. Everybody's human. So, and by the way, you could be a hero while being human. Martin Luther King was very, very human and was an amazing hero, right? So, but to me, the bigger problem in this case is that we're in a Alice in Wonderland situation and we're in a hall of mirrors, and you can't tell what's real or what's not real. I just was watching Dave Chappelle's latest special on Netflix, and he says the same thing. He's like, we can't tell what's going on anymore, right? Who's a good guy? Who's a bad guy? Does the government ever tell the truth?
No.
Does the media ever tell the truth? So then where do we go for figuring out what's going on? And I used to think that, and I've interviewed Noam Chomsky a bunch of times, I was proud of it, and I used to think that he was the smartest man alive. But why would a guy that brilliant, which he is, he's indisputably brilliant, make at a minimum such a stupid mistake of going and at a minimum hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? Steve Bannon, what is that?
Yeah, he gave a confirmed rapist advice on how to dodge the latest allegations against him. So I've got no interest in trying to understand the mind of Noam Chomsky. People behave as they actually are behind closed doors. And so I got a little taste of who Noam Chomsky really is, and it's depressing, but it is what it is.
But it made me think, like, wait, is there, the concept of controlled opposition, right?
Yeah.
And so
it's called the Democratic Party.
But it made me think, are even people who are on our side actually on our side? Like, or are they put there for a release valve and for other reasons, etc.? Because obviously there are some folks who are super well organized. They are a very well coordinated team. And the general public in America is not well organized. And as I've talked about on the Tucker Carlson show, but as I've talked about on here and many other places, they formed two teams for us, Republican and Democrat. And they said, use up all of your energy fighting one another. And whatever you do, don't look up. So we got to get organized. If we don't get organized, these folks are gonna rob us blind from here to eternity. So operationconsequences.com. You ever see anybody voting for Israel to get another dollar? Vote them out. Vote them out in your own primaries. They're not one of you. They're not a Republican. They're not a Democrat. They're barely Americans. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.